somebody who talked a good game, but then for whatever reasons he couldn't get what seemed well-formed ideas across to his players. Jesse Marsch has been fired by Leeds United. Marsch's last game saw Leeds lose 1-0 at Nottingham Forest yesterday. They ended the weekend 17th in the Premier League table, but only outside the relegation zone on goal difference. Marsch took over on the 28th of February last year, kept Leeds up on the final day of the Premier League season. His Leeds record just shy of one season where he's played 32, won 8, drawn 9, lost 15, points 33. He is over the point per game survival standard across his entire run, but very much under it this season, and 11 points from 17 games since the end of August is a horrendous run. There were good moments for Marsch during his time at Leeds, and following on from a transformational and now iconic figure in Marcelo Bielsa was always going to be a bit of a challenge. This season, Leeds have beaten Chelsea and Liverpool. Last season, there was that spectacular turnaround win at Wolves and the final day escape at Brentford. But in truth, the good days have been few and far between. Those who want to defend Marsch will probably have to use fairly generic and fairly broad arguments, I'd have to say. Firstly, that he didn't get enough time, maybe. Secondly, that he lost Calvin Phillips and Rafinha in the summer. Honestly, those pretty basic positions are going to be fairly easily out-argued with the big influx of players signed to replace the departing star players Phillips and Rafinha. The poor trajectory on the pitch is difficult to ignore, and the likely takeover off it with the US cash needs Premier League football as a cornerstone of the, and I hate the word, product. I don't like to say it, but perhaps Jesse Marsch is going to be remembered as somebody who talked a good game, but then for whatever reasons he couldn't get what seemed well-formed ideas across to his players. His interviews and his chat was always engaging, energetic, enthusiastic, but from what I can see, pretty much already lost the majority of the Leeds fan base. And given the three teams below Leeds in the table have already rolled the dice on new managers in this survival race, I can't say I'm massively shocked to see this news today. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where Leeds go with this next, especially given we think there's going to be some kind of transition of ownership relatively soon. They appeared in the past year to have gone all in on both the Red Bull and the United States links. Marsch had worked extensively in that system, and the likes of Aronson, Adams, Christensen, Verba were all signed from within it. Will Leeds disregard those links and move on, or continue down a similar path? Should we all be researching managers now who are currently in, or who have been in, that Red Bull system? A quick little Google on the early odds for a new replacement. It all seems to be fairly speculative, and frankly, it all seems to revolve around Marcelo Bielsa. Two of his students, Pochettino and Carlos Corberan, who's doing a pretty good job actually at West Brom in the Championship, are on there. Bielsa himself is the favourite. I'm not sure a return for the Argentinian is necessarily the right call, although that's not going to go away. And plenty of conversation on my timeline today, even pre the news that Marsch had been sacked, had been reflecting on how things might have played out differently had Bielsa stayed roughly this time last year. Now, only do this if you really believe it, but I'd be really interested to hear in the comments from anyone who would have forecasted an upward trajectory had Marsch stayed on and wouldn't have fired him. I suspect those people will be few and far between, so I'll instead ask, or I'll also ask for people's takes down below on who should come in at Leeds, where, for the second season running, the brief is going to simply be keep them in the Premier League. The bigger question, I guess, is how easy is it going to be for somebody to come in and get Leeds out of bother with this current squad in this current predicament and with the current rivals down there duking it out. Click up here to see my take on the survival race just before Christmas, with certain teams now looking far more comfortable and others, maybe like Leeds, looking a little more twitchy.